get a better understanding of the evolving China-Africa partnership, this is China-Africa Talk.
This year marks the 105th founding anniversary of the Communist Party of China. Over the past decades, the CPC has led China through profound transformation, from a country devastated by war to the world's second-largest economy, while lifting hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. This is China-Africa Talk. I'm Gao Junya. The CPC has maintained close exchanges with many political parties across Africa. Among its long-standing partners is Zimbabwe's ruling party, the Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front, or ZANU-PF. What has sustained this relationship for decades? What lessons does ZANU-PF see in China's development and governance? And how are the two parties working together today? We spoke with Farai Marapira, ZANU-PF's Director of Information and Publicity, for his perspective on the CPC's development journey and the enduring ties between the two parties. Director Marapira, you've been to China many times and you've attended a number of exchange programs observing China's development on the ground. So how do you assess the CPC's role in China's transformation over the past century?
The history of China cannot be spoken about without the mention of the CPC. The CPC is the DNA of China. It is the strength and the movement of China. We see it was formed in 1921. And we see from 1921 to 1949, it fought for the liberation of the Chinese people, both internally and externally, as the Second World War came and even after the end of the Second World War. All the economic development of China has been courtesy of the strategies and the implementations of the CPC. We see that from 1949 to 1978, the CPC focused on increasing its human capital, increasing the intellectual capacity of its people. So we see the CPC making these strides within the country of China. And if one is to look at the state in which China was from 1949, when the CPC was firmly in charge, it was taking over a country that was coming from a state of war, a state of invasion, and a state of colonialism by other countries. So China was very debilitated. The poverty level was astronomical. But the CPC, through these initiatives we're speaking of, has managed to turn around until now we speak of a China with zero poverty. They have managed to achieve poverty eradication.
And of course, we know that ZANU-PF has maintained long-standing relations with the CPC. How do you characterize the significance of these ties today?
We cannot speak of ZANU-PF without mentioning the CPC. From its inception in 1963 and the inception of ZAPU in 1961, there has been relations with the CPC. Our independence journey is courtesy, by and large, also to the efforts of the CPC. We find that our president was trained in China, one of the first cadres to go for training. Most of our military training for independence was from China. Our ideological footprint was based on the Chinese concept. We find that the concept of our people being the water and the combatants being the fish was a concept which we adopted from the CPC. And we have adopted also so many strategies as we have continued our interaction. And you will find that the goals and the aspirations of the CPC dovetail with the goals and the aspirations of ZANU-PF.
That's a quite vivid example of people being the water and combatant being the fish. So what other lessons from China's development journey have been particularly relevant or inspiring for Zimbabwe and ZANU-PF?
As a country coming from a colonial past and sanctions, we have noted that we also can do well by adapting some of the concepts used by the CPC in the advancements of their people. We note that from 1949, the CPC was focusing on an agrarian revolution, ensuring that and investment in the intellectual capacity of their people, their human capital base. So these are some of the things that we are focusing on. And we've also noted that they've also focused on infrastructural development, ensuring that there is a lesser cost of transportation of goods and ensuring that there is a better service in general. And this is also something that we have been achieving under the leadership of President Mnangagwa. We have been working on our roads. We are now working on our rail to ensure that we have a seamless infrastructural setup. We have also noted that the CPC has been a global leader in the issue of technology, ensuring that these great strides happening in technology occur for the betterment of their people and for the ease of the life of their citizens. And this is also one other lesson that we get from the CPC. If also I can mention the issue of the structural strength of the CPC as a party, the discipline, the insurance that there is regular training so that the CPC becomes the core of the development of the country. And this is something that we are integrating also as ZANU-PF, ensuring that there is solid discipline and there is always technical upgrade of those of us that serve within the party.
Yes, and you mentioned technology, you mentioned structure, discipline. Let's come to governance. Of course, the CPC emphasizes improving governance capacity. From your perspective, what are the key factors behind China's governance achievements?
The Chinese have been, under the CPC, have been notably very strong on the issue of corruption. They have set a world standard, arguably, by ensuring that there is no bed too high or any creature too small to be punished for corruption. So these are some of the factors, and also to ensure that there is transparency. The advent of technology has ensured that there is easier asset monitoring and people have easier access to the disclosure setups where they can disclose their assets. So there is a lot of transparency in the way China is run under the leadership of the CPC. There is a lot of action taken against corruption. So we find that these are the hallmarks of creating a society that has trust within its leaders, a society that has trust within its governance systems. So these are some of the issues that we look at as ZANU-PF. But there are many more factors. If you look at how there is an encouragement of growth ideas, and we see so many of the Chinese citizens being assisted to set startups so that we find that the country of China is as self-reliant as possible. So we've also seen a lot of knowledge transfer from China to us to also ensure that our engineers and technical people also develop and are able to provide a lot of services internally within Zimbabwe as a country.
Yes, and specifically, what aspects of China's governance experience do you believe are most relevant for Zimbabwe and broader Africa? We know that many developing countries face challenges such as poverty reduction, job creation, urbanization, and public service delivery, things like that.
Well, we have learned that the growth of a country is structural. It is not haphazard. You do not skip any corners and you do not bypass any targets along the way. So we have looked at the trajectory of the Chinese growth, how they have ensured that their agriculture develops to a point where they eradicate any shortage of food within their populace. And this is a country of more than 1 billion people. So this is not a feat which is simple. This is actually a major achievement. So we've noted that the first strength should be in agriculture. You should also have strength in infrastructure, as I've mentioned earlier. You should harness technology to ensure ease of service to the people. So these are the essential things that we're doing. Our president is launching an interface for the populace to ensure that there is regular feedback and there is a point of access for the citizenry to communicate. These are things that the CPC has learned, has led. For example, we know in China there is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exchange where people can report any anomalies within the prefectures, and these are dealt with within a certain time limit. So this is the harnessing of technology that we speak of to ensure that we provide a better service to the people. And the CPC undoubtedly is leading in this. And as we take lessons and develop within our own context and our own characteristic as a people, we still look to how they're achieving these things as we interface and we interact. We also take notes, they also take notes, and we both develop in brotherhood.
Yes, still on governance, we want to just dive deep a little bit. How important is party discipline, cadre training, and long-term planning in maintaining effective governance?
Discipline is the concrete with which targets are achieved. Discipline is the concrete with which we ensure that everyone is serving to the best of their ability. And the CPC does not shirk on the issue of discipline. They are very focused on that, and they ensure that each and every cadre is disciplined. And if anyone is in transgression of discipline, they always apply disciplinary measures without fear nor favor. On the issue of long-term goals, we have seen the CPC having 5-year plans, and they're entering. They are now moving on to another 5-year plan very soon for their 2035 goals. But we find that in terms of long-term goals, the CPC has set 5-year plans which are structured, which dovetail and fall one into the other like interlinking blocks, and this has created a fluid, solid development of China as a country, and it is backed by the discipline which is within the CPC, and the technical upgrades which the CPC continues to engage within its cadreship, ensuring that with the advent of technology and the changes in technology in the other sectors, their cadres remain within the discipline which is foundational within the CPC. They remain technical to be able to understand these changes and to be at the forefront of the implementation of these changes. And we see that these dovetail into these 5-year plans, which are now long-term strategies for the CPC and China at large, which continue to grow as the whole world can attest now.
Yes, just look at China's 5-year plans, as you mentioned. We know that Zimbabwe has also set up its own development plans. You have your national development strategy, you have your Vision 2030. So, what parallels can you draw between those two?
The parallels we draw within those two are that these 5-year plans are also essentially part of long-term strategies. If you look at NDS2, it flows from NDS1. If you look at our president's inauguration speech in 2023, where he spoke that we have fixed our agricultural sector, now it must become a throughput for a manufacturing sector, which is essentially agriculture and mining becoming the backbone of the next stage of our development. So we see that these are the parallels we find in the development of China under the CPC, how they've moved from ensuring food security, how they've moved from ensuring that they build their infrastructure to points now where they are now harnessing technology for easier service. We find that they now have more than 45,000 kilometers of high-speed rail, and journeys that used to take 10 hours are now done in less than half of that time. So these are the targets and the achievements of China under the leadership of the CPC, which we are also following up on and developing as Zimbabweans within our own cultural context and character.
China has also placed a strong emphasis on fighting corruption. So, what lessons can ZANU-PF draw from China's anti-corruption efforts?
China has been very strict on corruption, and one of the hallmark factors of their dealing with corruption is the CPC has made it clear and shown that there is no one too senior within the party to avoid censure and punishment. There is no one too low. So this whole of society approach on their corruption agenda shows that the CPC is very serious and solid on it. We have seen the same example happening under our president, where for the first time we've seen cabinet ministers being arrested for corruption. And we are also adopting a whole of society approach whereby there is no one who's too high, no bed too high or no creature too low to face the censure of corruption. So these are some of the similarities between the approaches of the CPC and ZANU-PF. And these are some of the lessons that we share and engage on whenever we're having our cadre exchange programs.
Yes, just as you mentioned, China actually eradicated absolute poverty back in 2021, lifting over 800 million people out of poverty in 4 decades, and also becoming the world's second largest economy. What do you see as the most important drivers of this success?
Before we look at the technological and other aspects, what builds a country's character? What the CPC did from 1949, one of their first things as they developed their agricultural sector was to invest in their human capital. So the achievements of China are courtesy of the CPC's wisdom in ensuring that they set development structures that are solid, that dovetail into the other. So as we have seen, the greatest asset of the Chinese is their human capital. An example was the sanctions on chips on Huawei. But now we see that China is now one of the world's, if not the world's leading chip manufacturer. So because of their investment in their human capital, they are now able to circumvent any challenge that comes their way. They're able to navigate and not only navigate, but become leaders in the race of any technological advancement. So we find that these are the lessons that we need to take, and we have adopted this into our education system, where we're now also encouraging our students not to follow that colonial education system, but we have restructured our education system under President Mnangagwa to ensure that we now have an education system that develops the intellect, develops skills. And this is also something that is a parallel between us and the CPC.
And if we look at some of the aspects of China's modernization experience, such as industrialization, infrastructure development, technology, rural revitalization, or education, which ones are most relevant to Zimbabwe and ZANU-PF development goals, in your opinion?
To be honest, there is none that is more important than the other, because the history of the Chinese people, their recent history, and our recent history have so many parallels. The challenges that we face and our people face are the same. China had a challenge with its rural development. We also have that challenge, which is why we're engaging in our rural industrialization programs. China had challenges with its education sector, and they focused on developing their human capital. We also inherited the colonial education sector, and we have been adopting it and ensuring that education reaches all. So these cannot be more important than the other, because one cannot develop without the other. It is like a spider web. Why, for it to be strong, every strand matters, but each strand alone is not sufficient. So all these factors are very important within the development of any country. And we've seen that to be where it is today, the CPC has ensured that the Chinese society has been developed on all these fronts. And this is exactly what we're also doing as ZANU-PF, ensuring that we are developing all these sectors concurrently, but ensuring that as we translate it to economic development, we build it brick by brick, block by block, ensuring that there is cement, there is connection, and there is interlinking of these developments we're bringing to our people, just as the CPC has done.
Let's go to China's economy. Of course, China is driving its high-quality development, emphasizing growth in different areas such as innovation, technology, green growth. So what opportunities does this create for Zimbabwe?
We are facing a lot of opportunities from this. China is our largest trading partner, and our all-weather friend. China has stood with Zimbabwe as we have developed and faced a lot of censure. We credit China for vetoing a UN resolution against us in the first decade of the 2000s. And we find that as we have been on our road to development, infrastructural development, and economic development, we have benefited from the Belt Road Initiative of China. We have seen that in the absence of Western investment, China has taken over that. And a lot of our economic trajectory is because of our trade and the investment by Chinese companies. So the relations between us and our development in China are intertwined from prior to independence as we fought for liberation. We continue to work hand in hand with our CPC brothers and sisters as we move towards economic liberation of our people, as we move to liberate our people from poverty, as we move to liberate our people from so many vices that came with the end of colonialism.
We just want you to share more specific examples. We know that you've been in certain exchange programs between CPC and ZANU-PF. How have such exchanges contributed to the governance capacity building and policy learning for ZANU-PF, do you think? Just give us some specific examples.
There's been a lot of positive development from cadre exchanges between the CPC and ZANU-PF, the South-South exchanges. I personally have been a recipient of these cadreship exchanges. I have developed in terms of media, in terms of developing an all-encompassing strategy, ensuring that no one and no place is left behind. I have been on visits to universities in China, to the CGTN headquarters, and we have seen how China ensures that there's a linkage between the national channels, the provincial, and the local channels, which are right at the grassroots. This has seen that they have a media setup. I will speak to my field. They have a media setup which enables any issue which is at grassroots level, which warrants national attention to immediately and within a short space of time find national prominence. So this has ensured that they've created a connectivity within their people. They've been able to create a culture of servitude and loyalty within their people through these grassroots examples. So these cadreship exchanges have assisted us in doing this, and it has also assisted us in fulfilling the vision and the aspirations of our leader. He has also spoken of leaving no one in no place behind, and we have also started using these lessons from our visits to ensure that in the media space we do that. We are now translating most of our communications into all our recognized languages. We have also learned to cater for those that are deaf, those that are blind. And these are some of the lessons we have learned on these cadreship exchange programs. So when we look at these, even going into the technological sector, even going into each and every sector, we find that these cadreship programs have helped us to develop the reiteration on all these visits on the importance of continuous technical learning, the reiteration on these visits of the importance of discipline, the importance of having a zero toleration to corruption. These continue to bolster and instill the correct mental ideology within us as cadres as we serve our country and serve our party.
More broadly, how can political parties contribute to building a stronger China-Africa community with a shared future?
We already, in my belief, have a strong China-Africa community. But what is important is that this brotherhood and this bond never break, because it is what has brought us all to where we are today. These continued interactions are very important. The trust between us and the shared goals, the interaction, sharing of ideas ensures that as we progress forward, we progress in unison. We are not pulling, but pushing together. We are not being pulled apart. So these engagements between China and us as Africa, which began from colonial fighting to today, as we fight these vices of impoverishment, these vices of corruption, all these vices that face us as countries, this engagement, this unity of purpose, we find that China, we have so many shared values. The issue of sovereignty, we speak with one voice. The issue of multilateral, a multipolar world, we speak with one voice. You look at the issues of speaking to the issue of non-interference in the internal issues of other countries. This is something, of course, which falls under sovereignty, but we emphasize on that with one voice. So this unity of purpose and this shared trajectory and this shared development strategy is ensuring that China and Africa develop hand in hand in brotherhood, and we are both entities moving forward with our South-South cooperation.
Yes, you spoke of cooperation, unity. Of course, China and Africa, we are both members of the Global South. What role can they play in promoting development and reforming global governance? Because we also know that recently Zimbabwe has been elected as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council.
I think it will expand on my previous points of saying that through our engagement over the years, we share the same worldview of non-interference. Our foreign policy is essentially similar. Our president has said Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none. We find that China speaks the same language. It might be a different mantra, but through President Xi, it is the same approach. So these interactions create a unified foreign policy approach. And as Zimbabwe becomes a member of the Security Council, this also creates a platform through which our shared ideals, our shared values can have another added voice for that period within the Security Council, so that we continue to push forward for the ideals which we hold value and hold true together. And we also continue to push for a world which we both envision as two countries.
You have actually shared with us very sharp observations on the CPC's governance, and you've been observed the CPC up close. So when you look at the principles, for example, I'll give you three: seeking the truth from facts, the mass line, or serving the people. Which one stands out for you the most? We're very curious to find out.
With me, what serves me the most is serving the people. Because when you seek the truth, you seek it for the people, that the people be not lied to. When you seek for mass lines, in all these dovetail to serve the people. And all these strategies, which the CPC has instituted since 1921, different strategies, but the goal is the same, to ensure that we serve the people. And this is the same with us as ZANU-PF. We have a song which we hold true and value, which we have heard from our pre-independence days, called Nzrazema Soldier, the way of the soldier. So we find that all these values of discipline, all these values of a non-tolerance to corruption, all these views of a multipolar world, all these views in each and every sector, all these development trajectories that both the CPC and ZANU-PF are forming, all of these dovetail for one end, to serve our people and to ensure that our people become stronger, our people become citizens who are living a better life. So when it comes to me personally, the most important thing is to serve the people, because all the discipline, all the technical re-upgrades, everything that happens is to ensure that we serve our people and our people have a better life.
And last but not least, what message can you send to the CPC and the Chinese people on the occasion of the party's 105th anniversary?
We congratulate the CPC on their 105th anniversary. There is no talk of Zimbabwe without the CPC. We cannot talk of ZANU-PF without the CPC. We are brothers and sisters. We have come from far and we've got farther to go. But what makes the journey ahead exciting is the knowledge that the Chinese people and the Zimbabwean people are one. We are united in common purpose. Our goals are the same. Our hopes are the same. And our aspirations are the same. So we congratulate you. We wish you the best. And together, may we continue to walk forward in peace, love, prosperity, and unmitigated growth.
Director Farai Marapira has visited China many times and has taken part in CPC ZANU-PF cadre exchange programs firsthand. His perspective offers a window into China's development path, its governance experience, and why they continue to resonate with political leaders in Africa. That's it for this edition of China Africa Talk. You can find us on major podcast platforms and on Substack. Do subscribe to our program. I'm Gao Junya. Bye for now.